I know my tail. I'm not y'all friend, okay? So I can.
But you just expressed so much.
Let me explain something to you.
You long time.
Wait. Let me tell you something. And before you leave, I know you leaving because my tail came. I just wanted you to know. I know what you're going through. Let me explain to you. Since you asked me.
I don't ask you.
Since you asked me.
I really ain't over here for this showing up, nasty, showing up, don't look.
Back and hit you. I'm sorry. If you don't want it to happen to you, don't you do it to nobody else. Cause it's not gonna be easy when it hits you. It's gonna be much harder. Yep, I be on top of that hill, listen. I be on top of that hill, listen, baby. I was listening to one blogger. She said some fake millimeters. I said, girl, she said you can tell the fake one from the real. I said, it's an imitation.
I know Miss Betty, she had something to say. I didn't know there was an issue. I would like to be privy to what the issue was.
Something about a secret recording.
Mel went live after one of the show aired. She tweeted that someone secretly recorded her, talking about Martell.
I don't have any feelings pertaining to who Martell's dating. I don't have any feelings pertaining to who Martell's dating. Who Martell's dating.
People took that and ran with it, saying it was Stormy. At any time, you could have came in and said, no, it wasn't Stormy. You didn't do that.
Betty, do you think the show showed that lady's true colors pertaining to her relationship with Stormy, or did you have reservations already?
I had reservations.
Because my mama didn't like you, because that's just not the truth.
You don't like me, I don't like you. We're good.
I never said I don't like you, and it's okay if you don't like me. God bless you. It's okay.
Okay.
You don't know me to not like me, Miss Betty. Shame on you.
I don't.
Shame on you. Be an example.
At first,
Grow
I said
up.
I didn't like your ways.
It's okay. Grow
but
up.
now it's just you.
I said, shut the F up. That's what I told him. I said, shut the up. Nobody ain't talking to you about no chopping and all this right here. But anyway, to go back to the event, she was doing all that talking on her live. She went to Benoit and she said, I heard you would threaten me. What is all this threatening? What kind of problem that you having with me? And I said to her, I said, no, he don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with you. And I have a problem with you. I have a problem with you.
They say this is a big, rich town. I just come from the poet's part.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss the messy mothers of Love and Marriage Huntsville and the Melody Cherie hate train. The first messy mama we saw on Love and Marriage Huntsville was Miss Wanda.
Oh, I see alcohol.
Wanda was funny as hell, to be honest. Very country and straight up raw. She reminds me a lot of the women in my family, if I'm gonna be honest. The viewers, including myself, loved Wanda at first because she would stick up for Tisha when Marceau was being an asshole to her. In those early seasons, honestly, she was the only person who would check Marceau when he was being extremely shady towards his wife.
Had the vasectomy done today?
Really? That's what kind of surgery you had?
Lord have mercy.
I just had to get it done.
Ma,
I just
do me a
don't
favor,
know,
please.
because that don't sound right, Marcel.
Mom, let me talk to him for a second.
Okay, well, you need to talk to him.
Eventually, I think the clout started to get to her head because Wanda left her daughter and her son-in-law and started hopping into everybody else's business. When Tisha and Mel first fell out because Martell had alleged that Marceau had cheated on Tisha, Wanda took it upon herself to be Tisha's bodyguard, in my opinion. From there would come Instagram live videos talking shit about Mel's children and the paternity of one of Mel's kids. Miss Wanda was going further than Tisha and Marceau, but I'm sure they helped charge that Duracell battery in her back. It all built up and exploded during Madani's grand reopening in season 4. Mel had finally had enough of the internet shit, so she stepped to Miss Wanda and her brother in their faces. This was the result.
Somebody other than who you talking to, I think I'm talking about what I want to say. So it's okay. Hey, man, get your hand down. Get your hand down. Get your hand down. Get your hand down. Talk. Hey, watch out. Watch out. Chill. Marie. Hey, bro. Care about you, bro. Hey, man, hey, man, stop. Let me go. Wait, get your hand off, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Please get the hand off me, dog.
Your mama need to go. And I know you love your mom. I love one.
I think the thing that got me the most with Miss Wanda was that it seemed like her problem with Mel wasn't a real issue. And obviously that applies to Betty as well. But in the beginning, you could see how Wanda would kind of try to play both sides and how often she would backpedal on the shit that she says when she's in Mel's face.
So I can
But you
follow.
just expressed how much you
Let me
love
explain
that.
something to you.
Go ahead.
You and Tisha should.
And then Mel checks her like, but you are on Arion's, which is Martell's mistress / girlfriend / child, mother of his last child, whatever. You're on her Instagram page liking her pictures. And Wanda is like, oh, I can like her pictures. Me, you, and Martell are not friends. It would be wrong if Tisha liked her pictures, but I can. And I'm like, lady, you really expect for us to believe that if you keying and liking Arion's pictures, that Tisha ain't in the background doing the same shady shit? If I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere that, and when I say I read somewhere, y'all, I read so much. I read a lot of places. So yeah, I read somewhere that Tisha was even like wearing one of Arion's dresses. Apparently she has like an Instagram boutique or something like that. To me, the problem just seemed inauthentic. I really believe that after a certain point, because Mel and Martell, they were definitely a united front, even a little bit after they had divorced. But once Martell started to sever ties with Melody, I feel like the rest of the cast and the friends of the show and the moms of the show took that as like a green light to, okay, now we can isolate and destroy Melody since she no longer has Martell. And I feel like that's what Miss Wanda was trying to do. I think coming for Mel's kids is really the lowest of the low, and it really just shows where their heads were. Tisha is, I can't control my mom. My mom does what she does. My mom says what she says. And it's like, no, you kind of can control your mom though, because your mom wouldn't really be on the show if it wasn't for you. And so obviously after the big blow up in season 4, I think Carlos listened to the fans by saying, hey, like, we don't want Wanda's messy ass on this show anymore. Wanda is causing more trouble than she's worth, considering she is not a main cast member. And considering that there's some shit that you need to be talking to your own daughter and your son-in-law about, instead of worrying about what Mel and Martell have going on. The most recent messy mama that we've seen that decided to show her whole entire ass in the past reunion is, of course, Betty Steele, which is Stormy's mother and Courtney's mother-in-law. So from what I gather from everything I've read online, from, of course, watching the show and being on social media and just taking all of these different, like all this different information and trying to put it into one story, is that Betty was already watching Love and Marriage Huntsville. And apparently she did not like Mel from the start. She says that she heard that when Stormy was brought up as a potential cast member, Melody said no and called her ghetto. Right? She says that's what she heard. That's what somebody told her. And she said she didn't like Melody from that point. And my whole thing is, if that is true, why didn't you tell Stormy that? And if you did tell Stormy that, why did she allow Melody to bring her onto the show? You know what I mean? Like, why did she allow Melody to be her in? Now, if this is a case of, oh, I found this out after the fact, okay, maybe. You know, I don't really buy shit that these people say a lot of the time, honestly. But yeah, to me, that whole thing just seems shaky. You're mad because Mel maybe called Stormy ghetto. And it's like, Stormy is a little ghetto. She wasn't wrong. But, you know, if that's how you feel, that's okay. Because just keep in mind, though, you had a preconceived notion of Mel, too, just by what she showed you on the screen. So, you know, everybody's allowed to have their preconceived notions. But I do honestly believe that once Mel and Stormy got together, they seen their commonalities and they really started to grow a friendship.
I love my mom, but like sometimes she can be very outspoken
especially when it comes to me and my friends. Growing up, she ain't like none of them. This time is no different. The only difference is now there's this thing called the internet, and she likes to be on X, and I want her to get off. I met her here at your home, and I didn't like the energy, okay? And I've been feeding off that energy ever since. So they're not, and I don't talk to her. Like, we don't talk now. And that was before you said something. Like, we didn't speak at the reunion for real. You didn't speak at the reunion.
Now listen, I don't know if it's the Scorpio in me, but me and Mel, we're here. We see each other. When she says after she's done filming, she kind of becomes a little unreachable, I get it 100%. And people have to understand, for the longest time, Mel had no friends on this cast. She had no friends on the cast. Every season was kind of like a Get Mel season. Every reunion was a Get Mel reunion. Put her to the fire because she doesn't go through enough. People always making her look good, right? In the words of Martell. So after the show wraps, why the fuck would she still want to be in contact with those people? Back then, it was truly draining for her, to the point where she definitely needed to separate herself from the rest of the cast after the show. Stormy, I don't think she knew that. I don't think she was aware of that's how Mel operate, and I think she took it personally. And because she took it personally, she ran with it, and she ran to her mama. You know, I believe that Stormy genuinely liked Mel. And when Mel wasn't as responsive to her as she wanted her to be, she became offended. She took it personal. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the way Mel reacted and the way Stormy reacted. I think she took it personally. And she did not take it upon herself to go the extra mile and DM Mel, because I felt like she didn't want to come out of her bag like that. She couldn't swallow her pride and her ego like that to be reaching out via DM trying to get in touch with Melody, right? Because it looked like, why am I chasing this bitch, you know? And so I think it's just little shit like that people can't really say out loud on a TV show, because then it makes you maybe look a little immature or weak. Not to me, of course. But yeah, those underlying feelings like that. And so to my point, I don't know if it's a Scorpio thing or what, but yeah, like we can kind of become unreachable. We can kind of like need our space a little bit. Like we can't be constantly in contact with people. And my thing with Mel is, and also my thing with me, yeah, we're doing this show together. We talk, and then after the show wraps, we don't talk. But checking in periodically, building up that friendship, building up that trust, that's how you get in good with the Scorpio. That constantly talking all day, every day, that is not how you get in good with us. It's annoying. It is extremely annoying. You get in good with us by showing up when it counts and being consistent. Not constant, but consistent. You know what I mean? And I think that's all Mel really looks for. I think it's smart of her to be cautious even when she is bringing people onto the show, because just because you bring someone onto a show doesn't mean that you guys are friends, you know? So with all that in mind, once they hit that point of, oh, she maybe think, because I know how people talk. Like, let's just be real. I know how people talk. I know how human nature works. Once they hit that point where Stormy felt like, okay, Mel hasn't talking to me, maybe there's some static, and Miss Bettie got in her ear, and in her head, in Miss Bettie's own head, but in Stormy's ear, she thinks she better than my daughter. You ain't gotta, what Kiki say? Girl, I ain't gotta run up behind you and chase you down to give you no information. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what they got in their heads. And even if it wasn't on a conscious level, subconsciously, unconsciously, they started to have ill will toward her. And that's why when Mel made that tweet about being recorded in her home, they thought it was about Stormy. And it's funny because I intentionally played it slow for you guys to see that they obviously show that we were talking about Destiny, or that Mel was talking about Destiny. So even if there were fans in the comments saying, are you talking about Stormy? Who gives a fuck when the TV clearly shows who we're talking about? And you know it's not about you, and Mel knows it's not about you, right? No, because at that point, they were already looking for a problem. And they probably didn't even know it. I know Betty knew it. Stormy, I feel like Stormy was trying to stay cool with it, even though she did feel a little offended. I do believe that. But the difference, in my opinion, between Stormy and Betty is that Stormy does mean well. But once they saw that tweet and there were a few comments about maybe it's Stormy, I feel like to them, there was a kind of confirmation bias and a green light to go ahead and go at Mel's head. Because Stormy was already mad at her anyway. Betty didn't like her anyway and used this as fuel to the fire, right? So I do want to address like the comments about, Stormy saying Mel's fans were calling, trying to get her products taken off the shelves and stuff like that. I empathize with that, right? Like, as someone who's worked hard on a business, the last thing you want is to get on reality TV, give off the wrong persona, and now people are trying to get your shit taken off the shelves. However, I think that you have to be responsible as well as a person on reality television. And you have to have tunnel vision. You cannot be in the comments with your mama trying to see what everybody else is saying, trying to have a moment, trying to make it look like, oh no, I'm not kissing Mel's ass. Oh no, Mel don't run me. You know what I mean? You know how people can kind of get in their bag a little bit and start to feel like, like Kimmy does, honestly, but I don't want to get off track here. So you have to be responsible. It was not up to Mel to go and clarify that her tweet wasn't about you, because it just wasn't about you, period. And like Tisha, I feel like Betty was a sort of mouthpiece for Stormy. Even though, yes, I do feel like Stormy can speak up for herself. But I also feel like Stormy genuinely liked Mel and did not want to go there with her. So yes, I feel like she used Betty as a mouthpiece. Maybe not knowingly, maybe not, Mom, hey, say this and that to Mel. No, but by venting to her and kind of creating a narrative where you feel like Mel is the bad guy, I feel like that's kind of what you're doing. You're putting more energy into that Duracell battery in her back, right? So yeah, that's why I feel like we got the behavior that we got from Betty on the reunion. These are older women. These are elders who their whole lives probably have not done much. No shade, right? No fucking shade at all, I promise. Because like I said, these women, I'm also from the South. These women remind me of a lot of the women around me. So when I say this, I'm speaking from a place of knowing. Older women who probably have not done much in their entire lives, who probably never had this level of attention, exposure, and opportunity to make money. And also, they're black women. Who the fuck are we holding our tongues for, right? And they're older black women, so they definitely not holding their tongue up for holding their tongue for anybody. And so I feel like when they are put on the stage where a lot of people think the goal of reality TV is to get a moment, is to read and to shade and to be that bitch, you know what I'm saying? When they're put on these stages and exploited by producers, I feel like they lose all sanity. And their only focus is making sure that their own fans who are in their comments egging them on are proud of them. They want to make sure that they can get that kind of, that they want their fans to be bigging them up. They want their fans to be like, oh yeah, you told her. They want to be a mouthpiece, not really realizing that they're being used as a pawn on behalf of a reality TV show and on behalf of fans. Because you have to understand, and I've started to notice this, especially amongst the Love and Marriage Huntsville fans. A lot of the fans take the show very personal. I don't know why, but I noticed that a lot of fans take the show very, very personal. And so if they see, and another point, a lot of the fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I feel like, are older in age. I feel like there are very few young people, like younger than 30, who are watching the show, compared to like a Real Housewives or something like that. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, with having a Wanda or Betty on the show representing like an older matriarch, right? Who kind of tells it like it is. You know, those people in essence sometimes feel like you are speaking for them. So you might see that in the comments, people wanting you to say this, wanting you to say that, or come at this person that way. And I feel like that's what these women are doing. I feel like it's abusive. I feel like to have Melody in a situation like that, where people can bring their moms on the show and do like this double team, this tag team. And this lady, and by this lady I'm speaking about Mel, is trying to remain respectful. She's trying not to go there with these people, yet Carlos is always giving these people a platform to come up and go against Mel. But for some reason, the entire cast feel like Carlos King tries to make Mel look good with his edits. I don't know. So yeah, I feel like the messy moms of Love and Marriage Huntsville is really just another chance for Carlos to get his ratings up and to get some people who kind of have no couth and who have no, I don't want to say have no experience in the broader world, right? Because these women are older than me. They obviously have a lot more experience than me. But what I'm saying is, they probably had no idea what the fuck they were getting into. That is what I'm saying. And there's one thing they don't know better than me, is reality TV and how it works, right? Because I've been watching reality TV, unfortunately, since I was about 8 or 9 years old. So yeah, I feel like these women are being used by Carlos and the rest of his production team to kind of obviously have a big splash, have a clickable moment, a sound bite that can just really set people off, especially since these women are country. They don't have any couth. They don't give a fuck. They're going to say what they want to say. But he's doing it at the expense of his star player, which is Melody Cherie. And I don't like it. I hope going forward, if we can't have Melody's mom sitting beside her at a reunion, hey, Miss V, I love you to death. You are my girl, because guess what? I don't do ghetto either. Y'all, that is my favorite quote. That's my favorite quote. She said, I don't do ghetto. I've never seen somebody just flatline somebody like that with one sentence. But anyway, if Melody's not going to be able to have Miss Van there, there's no reason why the rest of these moms need to come and sit on the goddamn couch. Betty having a problem with Mel is fucking Betty's problem. It's not the viewer's problem. I don't care about it. Wanda having a problem with Mel is Wanda's fucking problem. It really is, though, because Wanda created that problem on her own. She inserted herself into Mel's business. Keep her off the fucking show. Keep these moms off the fucking show, because guess what? Now we're going at their heads. They've made themselves fair game. And like Mel, I don't want to disrespect an elder either. And I hope I've not said anything too disrespectful in this video. But at the same time, you don't get to come for everybody's neck and no one comes for yours. That's about all I have to say on this, guys. I did want to make this quick, nothing too long. I just kind of wanted to address what I feel is the Melody Cherie hate train. I feel like people are so mad that so many people love this woman. People are mad that this woman is able to keep her head above water and she doesn't have to get low down and dirty for the people to expose themselves. They do that on their own. And so with that, I want to let everybody else know that as a millimeter, but I'm an objective millimeter. Let's be clear. Like, I'm not like a fucking blind follower. And I hate when people try to insinuate that because you like Mel, you just don't see anything she does wrong. No, that's not me. As y'all have probably picked up by now, I address everything. I check everybody. I give everybody their things, right? But I'm putting them on notice. As a millimeter, we see the shit. We see that y'all are making up issues with this lady. We see that certain producers are trying to give people a platform so that they can come on and kind of knock her down a few pegs, right? We see it. We're not going for it. It's played. And Melody is the type of woman that you just can't hold down. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.
You get to
She's over here being very ghetto at me.
See, well,